Material Components, Season 2, Episode 86, A Big Scoop. Greetings and welcome to Material Components, the actual play RPG show all about a galaxy of magic and the adventurers who live there, brought to you by the Punch Up Entertainment Network. I am your humble Dragon Master, Mike Gargoni, and joining me, as always, are my stalwart adventurers. Hey adventurers, thanks for being here.
Oh, heck
You are
yeah.
welcome.
Yo.
Finger guns. Pew pew, pew pew pew.
Pew pew indeed. Hey everybody, I'm Olivia, and I will be playing Florina Vacalar.
I am Elliot, and I am playing Shay, the Elven Wizard.
I'm Michael. I'm playing Oswald Octavian Theophilus III, you know.
And I'm Reed, and I'll be playing Amari.
Indeed. And of course, before we begin today's session, I have to ask the same question I ask every time, and that is, Elliot, do you remember what happened last time?
I do, and since we're in a very casual mood, we just figured some stuff out.
We're just doing stuff.
Well, we made it to the planet of Varmstead, which is where Hector Loricus, our current subject of investigation, went to college at the University of Needholg, which has some orcish ties. And we discovered some stuff about his time at school, his classwork, his schedule, his grades, his fucking GPA. We were reminded that
his
Hector...
collegiate privacy, yes.
Yeah. We were reminded that Hector is a minor wizard. So good to have that in the old brain pan. But the other thing that we found out was the address of his off-campus student housing, which it still lists as a current address. So we went to his apartment, and we discovered that it is uninhabited, but still has stuff in it, including a computer, some kind of terminal of some sort that has a data cache with sort of a dead man switch on it, that includes all of what he was working on with Project Chimera and what seems to be some sort of conflicted feelings about the project and his involvement in it and the purposes of the project as far as Aegis Tech is concerned. So we took that. Ours now. Including who it and the information included who it was going to be sent to. One Cassandra Loricus, his sister, was mentioned, and we discovered that she works at a somewhat local newspaper. We also discovered another address. Actually, the reason we came to this planet is because this is where the address that we currently have is located.
Correct.
It is an apartment some distance away, a more luxury apartment. So now we got to figure out what we're gonna do with all this stuff that we have.
Yes, indeed. Your investigations have garnered you a few more clues in the mysteries surrounding Project Chimera. I feel as though the party has a pretty good grasp on the totality of what Project Chimera was intended for and how it was accomplished. You have a lot of the pieces. Whether or not you have a full grasp on
what the ultimate end goal was.
Right.
That's the part that we're kind of fuzzy on. Who the hell authorized this and why on earth would they do such a thing is the part that we don't.
Yeah.
Though Shay might have some insights into that.
We have a potential answer that is probably a lie 50-50. So it'd be great to get some more evidence before
corroborating
deciding anything
evidence
about. Yeah. Which is
Yeah,
why
the
I haven't
word of a
told anybody
warlock.
anything.
Yes. it can be dodgy at the best of times. So
Yeah.
acting on that information must be done with caution.
Because if you were the only person in your species that could lie, why wouldn't you? That's how I feel about it.
This is true. But yes, you now find yourselves still on the world of Varmstead. You have several leads to follow, including the location of another apartment that you have the address of. Admittedly, that is not in... It's still in this city, but in a different part of it. It will take you a little while to get there. And a name of a sister who you will have to track down in order to talk to. Or you could just send a message online. She has a byline at a local... Calling it a newspaper is maybe giving the wrong idea. Because,
Blog.
like, broad... news feed, I think, is the term that would probably be used.
Yeah.
It would be a part of your daily scroll, would be including a feed to the Varmstead Oracle.
God, how
And-
messed up are people's daily news scrolls? Like, do newspapers have to like pay to be part of like do they need verified blue checks in order to like appear on people's feeds?
A person's feed is dictated by basically RSS subscription in a very
Okay.
similar way that you can technically organize your own daily intake of information via most browsers. Just most people don't do that.
Yeah.
But you could
Yeah.
have an RSS feed like dumped into your email every single day if you wanted to.
Okay.
And it works very similarly with the MetaNet in the Dragon's Wake, where it's like, okay, if there are feeds you want, you subscribe to them and they get updated on your personal, what's called a scroll. So you open your scroll every day and you ponder your scroll.
I prefer to ponder an orb, but that's just me.
And upper end people can absolutely ponder an orb. That is a 3-dimensional display in your
Most-
home. That's your orb.
Most wizards actually ponder an orb. It's a weird cultural thing.
Feels more tactile that way.
Yeah.
I literally hate that, like, yeah, there's some guy who's just reading his fucking paper, but it's like contained within an orb. Fucking stupid. The
Reading,
future is dumb and I hate it.
reading fucking pearls before swine on his orb.
So yeah, I guess you have the run of this place. You also have a spaceship, so you could fuck off whenever you want. I guess what is your next step when you have this computer in tow when you're leaving Hector's first apartment?
I think that we're
hailing
being
some
very
sort of
casual
cab.
and acting like we belong here.
And you did like a public cab basically to get here.
Mhm.
Your spaceship
Yeah.
is docked next to the college.
Yeah,
mean,
it might be good.
I was gonna say it might be good to drop off the computer before we go do anything else, because I'm not sure how big this like object physically is, but I know it contains a lot of information. Hopefully, so having it out and about for something to potentially go wrong with seems
Seems like
Unnecessary.
it's tempting fate a little bit.
yeah.
It's
Tempting
not
avoid.
large, but definitely big enough that it's not going to fit in a pocket. I would say
Mhm.
it's like roughly the size of a watermelon. Not nearly as heavy either. It's just like a bunch of circuitry and like a kind of a quarter dome that would rest on a desktop.
Yeah, I was going to go one step further and say like we should just go back to the ship and talk about what our next steps are.
Sure.
In a, kind of secure area.
Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, the less time we have out and about for people to either recognize us or for something else to recognize us,
Yeah.
the better.
And if shit goes down and we're in the ship, we can just go. We could just leave.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Getting into this public transport, easy enough. And you get picked up from this apartment and you get flown back to the college. As a reminder, the college is this big blend of architectures, both Orcish and Imperial, that kind of blends the like Near Eastern Persian minaret kind of vibe with more like classical Roman straight up and down, very robust lines kind of architecture styles, with these orbiting buildings that literally float in a circle around the main, almost tower-like apparatus of the college/monastery.
Just so we have a visual picture and know what's going on in your brain, Mike. When you say
That's a
Orcish,
dark place, but go on.
when you say Roman architecture, do you mean like what we in a modern sense think of as like Roman architecture, like the stark white kind of sanitized version, or is it more colorful, or is it more colorful specifically because of the Orcish influence?
It would be more colorful because of the mineral composition of it, because it
'cause
uses
it's all
so
magic.
much
Yeah.
crystals, and like you got to think of like, okay, what if vaporwave Rome? What if like neon crystal gemstone? Like, yes, there's a lot of
everyone go play nope, it's not gonna be funny because I can't remember the name of that game.
Okay.
Paradise Killer?
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah.
It's so good. Everyone go play it right now. Turn off Macom.
Yeah.
No, don't
Fuck
do that.
this show.
Hey, I like this show. It's very good.
Wait, listen to Macom in the background while you play Paradise
Yeah,
Killer.
yeah, yeah.
There
we
we
go.
go.
Okay,
There we
perfect
go.
compromise. Yeah.
But like, turn us down so you can hear the soundtrack of Paradise Killer because it's really good.
But the earthware of the buildings is mostly like marble and, like I said, ivory, kind of like polished stones. But then there is enough like lattice worked crystal built into it that it has other flares of color on top of it that glow in the etheric senses.
Okay, cool.
And then the Orcish influences are more of these like round, sweeping, like more natural looking curves. Minarets are definitely a feature, and there are these sort of blends of artifice and natural architecture that would probably blend well in a like nature setting, if there was any nature left here to see. And some of that is reflected on the interior, which you saw last time, in which they like recreated outdoor scenes inside bits of this building. Like you walk through that orchard of trees to get to the student information office. Getting back to the Tiresian is a easy, like 10-minute trip, and you get there without issue. Something you would notice on the way back in, and you would probably realize that this has always been happening in the background, but now you're a little bit more carrying the hot potato and a little bit more like keyed in on certain things on your mind at the moment, and that is the presence of pixies in this city. Like, lots of pixies. Once you start seeing them, it's hard not to see them zipping here and there from building to building. It's a lot like you saw back on Asclipsis as well, though where there they were all different colors from a bunch of different courts. Here it is exclusively the silvery whites of the Court of Air. And you never really get close enough to see them up close, but there are definitely like the little lights of tiny flying creatures flying about this city. And here and there you'll just see them zipping from building to building or going about tasks. And they are highlighted by their like glowing wings, so you can pick them out of the sky as they just zip past. But it's just something in the background of this city here that you'd probably be a little bit more keyed up on now that you're carrying Project Chimera information on your person.
You can go.
Listman having a disagreement with a cat briefly.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
We've all been there.
Yep.
Every morning.
But yeah, you arrive back at the Tiresian. Cargo in tow.
I'm
Alright.
hesitant to like hook this up to the ship, right?
Literally just about to
Yeah.
say that.
Like, let's
Yeah.
keep it isolated. in the same way that we, I guess, originally had Mara, right? If at all possible. I know we had a whole hangar and the ability to do that last time, but if we could do something similar to that, I think that'd probably be a good choice. Because who knows if Aegis Tech had some sort of connection to this and has been waiting for someone to come pick up the dead drop.
Yeah.
I also just like it might be good for us to review this. We don't know what's on there. And I feel like immediately hooking it up to somewhere where that Mara has access to might be. I think we should maybe just look at it first.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
How
be
traumatic
responsible.
it might be.
Be responsible parents. View
Yeah.
media that your kids are gonna view before you let them.
mhm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I got to read this book beforehand, see if it's
Yeah.
if it's actually for
If
kids
it's
or not. Yeah.
Exactly.
Kid appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you would be greeted upon your return by Mara would welcome you back to the ship, as well as Vesnes, who has not left. She would not feel comfortable here at all. Empire is definitely one of those governments that still enforces the Vendrox doctrine that basically makes her people persona non grata in certain chunks of space.
Yeah.
Using the fact that she is a carrier for a incredibly deadly and virulent disease, though one that has, to most people's knowledge, only ever affected the cog.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've talked about how it's a very convenient way to just be bigoted against the cog.
Correct. And as we've said before, that is changing in different parts of the galaxy. A lot of people kind of have thrown that out the window at this point, but officially there are still big governments that use it to oppress this minority people.
Yeah.
Definitely a fictional setting, the Dragon's Wake galaxy.
Yeah,
Mhm.
there's
Yeah.
No parallels here.
no.
None.
But yeah, you can... Let's see. How would you go about reviewing this information without connecting it to your ship and revealing it to Mara, I guess? Or how long would you take to review it as well? Because there's a lot here.
I mean, I have previously established that I have a lot of burner data pads
Mm-hmm.
True.
that can very easily
and,
be disconnected from the metanet.
And I have experience sifting through large swaths of information.
Yeah.
Perhaps I was able to put together an algorithm that looks for specific sets of information that we want to find.
You already have one of those established for Project Chimera, in fact, because the last trove you got from Talgun 3 you used to kind of narrow down certain search parameters about the project itself. I guess, do you disconnect this terminal from the metanet, though?
Can we tell?
Last time you saw, it was like basically constantly updating in some fashion. And the only message you've seen so far from Hector does indicate that it does update every little while
like
to get new.
Yeah,
That's
like
true.
it's like it's an iCloud.
Right.
So
But however he's updating this database, it doesn't happen continuously. It happens in big chunks.
Yeah. So it would stand to reason that there is something keeping it from... that there is something about that is not detectable as far as Hector is concerned, I guess.
Not only that, but like we could still potentially get more information out of it.
Yeah.
For like
That's
future
true.
updates.
Is there like a consistent... well, I guess there's no way to know how often it updates other than waiting, but can we
No, you would probably be able to dig through it and like see when...
Yeah.
I mean, you on a computer, you can see when files are modified and added like that. That would be no different.
That's true. Yeah, is there like a consistent uploading schedule, or does it seem pretty erratic? Are the size of like the uploads similar, or is it vary?
That sort of information is all things you would easily be able to determine once you start sifting through this information. But I guess, or do you start sifting before you make the decision whether or not to cut it off from the metanet? Because that would be something you would have to decide, like, basically right when the thing boots up, is just like, do you connect to the metanet?
I think that we should keep it connected, because if we want to build not a case, but like build up a way to get Hector on our side, I don't think that we want to possibly alert him that something has changed about this situation.
Mm-hmm. So we would need to look through it. We'll keep it connected, but we'll try to look through it in a way that doesn't leave fingerprints, if that makes sense. Digital, or I suppose.
Yeah.
And if there's a way for him to upload information to this, there's theoretically a way that we could potentially communicate with him.
Yeah.
To eventually get him on our side if need be. So,
and you would all be aware, because you looked at his grades, this guy is like a computer sciences major. Like, when it comes to information technologies, Hector Loricus knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
And to the point where I don't know if there would be a one of you who would consider yourselves his equal in terms of like seeing what his doctorates in like information technology stuff, and like the interchanges in like how MetaNet functions with Fey behavior and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's not a realm of expertise that any of you have.
No.
Now, I have read
don't care
wikis on that, but yeah, I think I'm an expert.
What in the goddamn hell is a wiki?
I just
Great
fuck
question.
things up on the MetaNet for fun, so.
Yeah.
I guess all of that is to say, assuming that he might know if something changes on this terminal's end would probably be a safe assumption.
Yeah.
Okay. Could be Cassandra.
Yeah, like that is the thing, is like he'll just get a ping saying, this. Well, unless he's tracking it, in which case.
Yeah, he'll just get a push notification right after.
Though
his
then
Candy
again,
Crush.
he was assuming that this terminal would only be accessed in the event of his death.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one ever expects us to be this stupid. Their biggest downfall.
True. It's going to lead to the downfall of so many of our foes.
It's hard to plan for stupid, honestly.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
No plan survives first contact with a dumbass.
I believe Sun
Confucius
Tzu said that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, so you're leaving it connected to the MetaNet, and you're going to start looking through it without connecting it to the Tiresian systems.
Yes.
Is everyone participating in this?
No. God, no.
I
mean, like, I don't know what I
yes.
could do to help with this.
I mean, yeah.
It's literally just reading stuff at a certain point.
Yeah. I will.
You're not hacking anything. You're not breaking into systems. It's just there's a lot of you're getting handed.
I guess, yeah.
Years worth of.
Oh, yeah, that's also the thing, is I don't know. I guess, yeah. Once we get into it, sure, I'll help. Once we get into it, if it's super technical stuff, I don't.
I mean,
I
I
don't
don't
know
know why,
how
but I want
Bavarian.
to print it all out. Like, that would be ridiculous in this setting, but like, let's just print it all out. We'll go through it and highlight it. You give me 20 pages, I'll go over here, you do 20 pages. We'll come back and figure out what we read.
Yeah,
That's
we just need
especially
to
funny
find the
because
closest
that's not
printer.
a format that anybody
Yeah, I know.
uses in this.
Well, we just gotta get a dot matrix.
Well, okay.
Honestly,
Hey,
it's the
I will
same
what
history,
what is
I will
the what is
hand
brother? What is
transcribe
the?
every file and I'll write it out in my notebooks.
Oh,
And then we
okay.
can...
I look at how good's your penmanship?
Oh, I have real good
Excellent.
shorthand.
Oh, that's
God.
good. It's worse than a like a doctor. It's just like
Yeah,
the
it's like
ravings of a void monster.
well, it's literally like the the old like stenographer or secretary shorthand code where it's like all of the words look vaguely the same. Oh man,
Mhm.
yeah, it's a secret Acalarian code.
Question, Mike. Does does anyone keep like regular like libraries of data, like books, reams of paper, anything like that, or has that been for the most part completely outmoded?
If it exists, it is done so for archival purposes. For most people, it would be completely outmoded. Like hard paper documents are incredibly rare.
And I think you mentioned like long ago at the beginning of this campaign, like some people have books as like an affectation.
Mhm.
Yeah, as like a status symbol of just like,
Mhm.
oh, look at my library.
Yeah.
And having a library speaks to a level of opulence that just
Yeah.
like most people can't. Like, why would you waste money on that? You can have every
Look
book
at this
you ever
room.
wanted
It's used
in
for
the
nothing
device.
but books.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't
There's
even
not
read
even
them
any chairs in here.
except for my book chair. It's a chair made of
Made of
books.
You can't sit in it.
Oh my.
Mhm.
There would be places that would be like archives of important, especially documents and like legal contracts and stuff. They would probably have hard copies of those in certain offices, and there would be a need for certain archival, like ancient texts
Yeah.
that like original versions of them exist somewhere.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was gonna say like historically important things that have maybe been transcribed. I mean, much like I know that our society is not at that point. Again, the Dragon's Wake is completely fictional. There are no parallels. But like,
Mhm.
right, there have been scans made of the fucking Declaration of Independence, but we still keep the damn thing in a museum. So
Right. Like treaties are still signed, and that
Yeah.
lends a level of an air of importance to them, but like those documents are stored digitally most places.
yeah.
So saying like like a religious institution like that of like Brother Hune would have something like that, perhaps.
A college would probably be a place that, like,
Okay.
if they probably have a store of information in a library, but it's calling it a library is, I think, giving you the wrong idea. An archive is definitely more what it would be. It is a store of things that, like, this needs to be kept at a specific temperature to even exist, and like it's rare stuff. It's stuff of just like significance or importance that is kept aside and there for research and studying purposes, not because this is open to the public and accessible information that we just hand out to students. This is, oh, you need to read the original religious texts as laid down by the matriarchs of Vastplane. Okay, we have some copies of those here that you can get into a sealed room to read with gloves if you're researching that topic.
Just
For
stay in
your
a
doctoral
motel.
thesis.
Motel, hotel. It'll have one in the nightstand. It's
Yeah,
fine.
there's a Gideon's in the nightstand.
Yeah.
They do have them, but it's just like a Kindle.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, just curious whether or not, like, if we really wanted hard copies, how difficult would it be? And it seems at this point it would be fairly difficult.
I
To
was
get like a ream
literally
of
just
paper.
thinking
It would
that.
just be like so
And-
much information. Why it would just take so long to print it out? Why would we do that?
And take up so much space.
I don't know. I love the idea of getting paper going
It
and
would
just like
be
in physical
like-
documents.
it would be like printing out every note that it took in developing the automobile.
I got time.
That is what you're talking like, and it's not a driver's manual. It is like every piece of paper ever used to develop the internal combustion engine. You're printing all of that out.
Mike, we're not gonna do it. I was just curious.
I know. I was trying to equate it to something, and I was like, that's
Well,
the closest I could think of.
If you put the papers together on the floor and then look at it from a higher vantage point, it's actually a person's face
Oh
screaming.
my god.
Oh my god.
It's the Da Vinci Code.
We need Robert Langdon. Or whatever the fuck his name is.
I think that's right.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, good for me.
Okay, so you're just hanging out in your ship at the college and going through the data that you've purloined? How long do you want to devote to this, I guess?
Just about to say, are we just going to sit here and do this? Because, like, we can.
Just scroll. Well, if we want to, somebody could go and talk to the sister while I sift through this information.
I mean,
I see. You're all reticent to go anywhere without me because I am the beating heart and soul of this group.
Correct.
Right, I
Absolutely.
forgot.
Yeah.
Correct.
The
Oh my
moral
God.
center.
Yes.
And,
Mhm,
yeah.
mhm.
Yes.
Keeping
Yes,
us all
okay.
together. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I perhaps it's not best to have that conversation until we know what's on the this data dump.
I mean, we know what the end result of all this is. She's here.
Where is this conversation happening?
I was literally just about to say, are we in the we can't be in the isolation room because that would cut off the access to the metanet. That means we can't talk about it out loud either.
Well, we can certainly talk around it to a certain degree.
I don't know that making it obvious that we're hiding something is a good idea.
I mean, we can tell.
We're talking about hiding it from Mara or hiding it
Yeah.
from. Okay.
From
I don't.
have
I
to
don't
hide
see
it.
what hiding it does to benefit us, other than we could just say that, hey, this is a cache of information. We don't know what's on there, and it could be detrimental to her systems and stuff like that, her own health. So
Yes, we're gonna check it first. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Okay, and when Vesnus asks you, what did you find? What do you say to her? Do you use that oblique of language with Vesnus?
I mean, I don't know if I'm the one
Well,
having this
okay.
conversation.
Okay.
Or
The question we have to ask and then answer is that how clear have we been up to this point that we are going to Varmstead to figure out something about Hector Loricus?
We've been pretty obvious about it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, I agree with Reed that it does not behoove us to start being oblique about it,
Weird. Yeah.
to start
Yeah.
being weird
No,
about it.
that's exactly what I mean. Is like I
Yeah.
feel like deliberately hiding is gonna be bad.
Okay,
Like,
so
I mean, but that's the other thing is that, like, we can also just say we found some information about the project. Oh no, that's pretty bad. You wouldn't say to in front of your kid, "Hey, we found some information about that child." That's pretty bad.
That thing.
That thing.
So, I mean, I feel like Mara would be relatively understanding if we said, hey, she knows what we came here to do, and we can ask her if she's okay with us going through this before sharing it with her. I mean, the
That's
least
true.
we could do is just
Again.
ask her, right?
Treating
and
children like
she
they're people.
Yes.
She has expressed in the past that, from her point of view, whatever Aegis Tech designed her to do, she doesn't think that it was a nice thing. And
Yeah.
she has said that she is sort of opposed to Aegis Tech at this point because of all of y'all's influence and the conversations you've had with her. She has made that pretty clear.
Getting those
And
good
she
parent
has
points.
also sort of differentiated herself from Project Chimera, the project that resulted in her, and Mara, the little digital girl who lives in your spaceship.
Mhm.
Oh, I love her.
I do too. I missed her.
Right,
So
'cause
yeah,
she's just a component in Project Chimera. Like, she's going to be used for something.
She is maybe the end result of
Yeah.
Project Chimera.
Right.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but am I misremembering that Project Chimera was part of a larger project? Like it was a segment of it? Like that was a component
No.
of something?
No, I think you're thinking of the things that we found in the cache was that the original cache was that like all these different bases were
Mhm.
working on smaller components that led into Project Chimera.
That's what it was. That's what it was. Got
Okay.
it. Okay.
Yeah,
It's been a minute.
exactly. No, that's totally fair. No, this has all been sort of slowly building and coming to a head, and like there are lots of pieces that you all are starting to put together, and I want to help as the dragon master. I want to help. Like you have a lot of the information, and you're starting to put those pieces together, and I want to help you every way I can with that.
Yeah.
And if that means you can't remember something that happened a year and a half ago, I want to help you with that as well.
Mhm.
I had
Why
dice
did
ready
no
to
one
go.
take keen mind this time?
Because I said at the beginning at session 0, I'm not taking notes this season.
So yeah, with all that said, when Vesnus Rosek asks you, "So what did you find?"
Hector left a dead man's switch of data of sorts at his old college apartment.
And Vesnus kind of nods appreciably, and Mara's voice would say, "That does sound like something he would do. He's very thorough."
We're sort of starting to put that together about him.
If there's anything I can do to help analyzing the data, please let me know.
Right. Well, yes, I assume we'll need your help at some point. Obviously, we want to take a look at it first and make sure there's nothing in there that might be, well, detrimental to your programming. But yes, of course.
Ah, I see. Very good.
But yeah, but I'm sure there's going to be lots of technical stuff in there that you're going to know more about than we do.
There also seems to be a heck of a lot of it, so.
Yeah.
I am good at processing great deals of information, faster than any of you could. It is one of the flaws of your biological brains.
Yeah.
Yes.
Damn shame.
And the only one of you who seems to be working towards overcoming that is Oswald.
Well, I had a bit of a misstep in that direction, but, maybe there's a workaround.
Listen, I am perfectly fine with my very flawed biological brain. Thank you very much.
Mm. Yeah, I'm not looking to make any alterations anytime soon, but thank you though.
Okay, well. First approximation of this data when you crack it open. There's a lot of it. And it seems to be broken down into two major components. There is clearly some kind of video journal and log of like a bunch of different notes being kept by Hector Loricus over the course of literally years. It seems like Project Chimera has been in the works since basically when he got hired by Aegis Tech Solutions, which predates the war. That started about 7 years ago.
Okay.
So actually, technically, that would have happened around the time the war started.
Okay.
And is it made pretty quickly clear, or maybe made clear the opposite, that he was brought on specifically for this project, or was he just brought on generally and then this project developed?
He was brought on explicitly. It seems like his start date with Aegis Tech Solutions and the start date of Project Chimera are basically the same date.
Okay.
They're not like day and date, but it's definitely like really quickly that happened.
I just wanted to confirm that it wasn't like this is something that he stumbled upon. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, last time did we learn that he was actually scouted? That wasn't that like he was
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm gonna go work
Yeah.
for Aegis Tech. It was that they were like, hey, come work for us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they saw his
Okay.
paper that he had, like his dissertation or whatever that he had
Right.
written, and also kind of buried that information.
Yeah.
Or at least we like that sort of information was not readily available for us elsewhere.
As I said last time, you'd expect like a paper that was written as a dissertation for someone to earn their doctorate would have been published and publicly available, and the fact that you didn't find it while searching information about him on the metanet really stands out now.
Yeah. Okay.
But you do have access to that paper now since you hacked his school records.
Yeah. We should probably read that too at some point.
You want to read somebody's thesis?
I don't.
No,
I
I
literally
don't, but
don't.
like it seems important. Fuck.
Maybe that's what we can have Mira read.
Mira, what does
Hey,
this
can you
say?
Spark notes this for us, please?
Just like 2 to 3 sentences, you know.
Yeah, what's the argument?
I have been to friends' thesis dissertations for like subjects I'm actually interested in, like theater, and went to my friend's gender studies. She presented her thesis for her gender studies major. It was very good. I never want to do it again. Ever.
All right. But yeah, the information you have, like I said, comes in 2 parts. The first part was like video journals and videos of some that are definitely not journals. They look to be tests of some kind. Really, what all you're seeing in the brief is just like the thumbnails of like, okay, here's the first frame of whatever this video is, and some of them are Hector's head, and some of them are other stuff. You're not quite sure what's happening there. They look like different scenarios that take place in different rooms or laboratories or other settings. There's a couple of them that stand out that are just like, that looks like something being recorded directly from the metanet, like from a meta diver's point of view.
Oh, weird.
Just like weird views of the meta fae that are artificial in nature.
Yeah.
Neat.
The other half of this information is technical data that is like dense, raw, computational algorithms and math and formula and a lot of little pieces of programming language that I think Shay would like have an idea of what this stuff is, but it is like way more complex than what you've toyed around with personally.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of like logs that are like records of conversations, like back and forths between Hector and a bunch of other individuals.
Are they memos like from like his notes on conversations, or is he super paranoid? Was he recording everything?
The only records of conversations he has aren't like voice conversations, so there's no like
it's all like
recording
sound. It's all
okay.
like if he was ever sent a memo or a message or an email or what have you,
perfect.
He has a copy of it here and it is transcribed. There a name that would leap out just briefly scrolling through those is like, he is definitely in contact with Cromwell Silvaro on a lot of occasions.
I think probably pretty early into this data sifting, I want to do some research about Cassandra before we like try to actually talk to her.
That's a good call. Give me some kind of research roll. Knowledge is maybe a talent that would help you here.
So I'm gonna throw something out.
Love it.
So Hector is making this dead man switch for his journalist sister. Can I argue for Western Reach politics that maybe she is maybe not like a big name, but like maybe it's easy to find her. Maybe her name has come up before.
Yeah.
Has she reported on anything?
Anything noteworthy
Yeah.
that I would have heard of, I guess.
Sure, absolutely.
Western Reach regional bowling tournament.
Yes.
I was
so
part of
kind
it,
of
baby.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, damn. You find it. Cassandra's actually interviewed you,
Yeah.
but
Like,
as a
oh, shit,
bowler.
yeah, that
Twice.
Cassandra. Okay, that makes sense. Let's see.
The talent
What-
Shay has never gotten to use this campaign. The athletics bowling talent.
Yeah.
You
It's
got a
just never
D12
gone.
on that. It's crazy.
I got a D12 in bowling. Like, we've just never gone. And we left before, and we left Aoka before I could, like,
Yeah.
show off my skills. The Oracle Zero bowling team is gonna clean up when we get back. Tactics wise,
I think clever.
yeah, I was gonna
probably
say
fits
cleverly
that.
probably is the only one that really makes sense. Let's see. How am I doing on Aether? I'll use 2 of my own Aether.
This is yet another role where the higher you get,
yeah.
the more information you'll get. I would say baseline here is going to be. I mean, you have you know who she is and you know where she works, so you already have the baseline information here.
Yeah.
So it would be more than just an easy roll. I would say to get the kind of information you're looking for, this would probably be challenging as our baseline. So I'm looking for a 15.
Okay. Remind me what the ship's Aether pool is.
Effectively unlimited. It's really high.
Okay. Then I'm actually not going to use my own Aether. I'm going to pull 3 from the ship.
Okay. When you pull that much Aether from the ship at one time, like some of the lights will flicker and like ship systems act a little wonky.
Yeah, I'll just give everyone a heads up.
Okay. It's really only important if you're doing it mid-flight.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, lights are going to flicker really quick, but it's fine. We're not flying, so we're all good.
The oxygen system like makes the power down noise.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, just open the door real quick. Everyone hold your breath.
Artificial
just
gravity
like-
is not important if you're on a planet. It's fine.
Yeah. Not bad. 16. Well, okay, hold on. Let's do math a good way. So that's 15.
Why do they call it new math?
Why do they
Math is
call it
math.
new math? 21, 29.
Ooh. I mean, you've already got a crit there.
It's true.
But yeah, one more would get you to that next benchmark. And danger gauge is only a 2 right now. I mean, sheesh. Barely any danger at all. Almost done.
Almost none.
Approaching
but
0 danger. And what if you got a second crit? Wouldn't that be nice?
I mean, you could lower it.
It's true.
You'd still get like the bonus info.
Yeah.
But then you could just knock it back down.
Yeah, why don't I do that?
Yes.
Give Mike his treat for good DMing.
I get my Scooby snack.
Yeah.
You can have little avoid die as a treat.
Yeah.
Nom, 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 nom.
I was worried that was going to sound mean, but everyone's just like, "Oh, it's so cute." And it's like, yeah.
Oh my god, it is over 30, and it's not a 1.
It's the die roll -1 plus 30.
Or just 29 plus whatever you rolled.
Yeah.
I just mean like if it's not coming to your brain immediately, just
35.
35. Okay. So that is 2 crits. What would you like to do to spend with those critical victories you've just earned there?
I would like to pop the danger gauge back down.
Hell yeah.
And
Twice or just once?
because I'm gonna get one of my Aether back actually.
Okay. Just as a reminder, we changed the rules on that slightly. So instead of getting 1 Aether die back, you roll a d6 and get that money back.
Right. Oh,
That
yeah. As a
is
wizard, this is the best for me.
Spicy.
I wanted
It's
to
a
make
fucking
crits feel a
one.
little
So
better.
you know what? Fuck me, I guess.
Not that much better.
Well, not for Elliot this time.
The potential
Yeah.
is there, though.
Yeah, the potential is
Ugh.
there for it to rule.
Wasn't one of the die I gave you, was it?
No,
Oh,
it
thank
was
God.
the non-binary flag dice that Paige got me.
Friend of the show.
Paige, if you're listening, I love them anyway. They're great dice.
All right. 35 is a very good roll.
It is.
Specifically, Western Reach politics. Let's see. What would you know? The Varmstead Oracle is a incredibly anti-establishment news feed.
Nice.
Ooh.
It is somewhat notorious for reporting on the dealings of members of the Senate Minor in exposés that have resulted in more than a few senators being thrown out of the Senate proper. Like, for all of the oligarchical methods of the empire and kind of the corporate nightmare, there are still like lines that can be drawn in terms of just like people can get brought up on charges for levels of corruption within the empire and the Senate.
Mm-hmm.
And the Khanis Empire deals incredibly harshly with people who get caught doing that sort of thing, to the point where noble houses have collapsed because business dealings have been like withdrawn from the House Khanis proper.
Yeah.
Oof.
The Varmstead Oracle is responsible for at least one House War is putting it lightly. No, it's putting it too harshly. The Varmstead Oracle is partially blamed for the annihilation of House Bruthius.
Oh shit.
It exposed certain things about it that like increased tensions to such a level that when the couple empresses back died and House Bruthius made their play for power, like they were sort of forced to act in that way because they were already on the knife's edge of like being in a position where they were an acceptable member of Imperial society. So like, while nothing the Varmstead Oracle did explicitly caused that noble house to get disintegrated, like House Bruthius still tried to seize the Imperial throne. That is a choice they made.
Yeah. But like it didn't help.
It absolutely didn't help. And like a firm argument can be made that like certain exposés that their reporters did about House Bruthius's business dealings increased tensions in the pre-rebellion era.
Okay.
Cassandra was not involved in any of that, but that is like the publication she is working for is known for that.
Yeah. I was gonna say I think the reason that I know anything about the Varmstead Oracle is that that like when I left Western Isolde, or like right before I left, and like I like learned all the stuff about the Shattering and stuff, that like I not Googled because that's not what it's called, but like I was like, I gotta
Looking
like
glass.
yeah, I got a glass. Nope, again, that's not the I tried that one last time or 2 times ago, I think. I was like, I gotta look up any like anti-imperial and like anti-establishment on, you know, for both sides, as like many news feeds as I can, and like that was one of them.
Notably, it is a news feed that is based in the Empire. Like,
Yeah.
the Empire does have freedom of speech. Like, the Empire, House Khanis isn't shutting down organizations like this with an iron fist.
See, we aren't fascists. We let these guys live.
And that's
We
what
haven't
people
murdered
say is
all of
like,
these journalists.
yeah, uh-huh.
Give
There is
it
a
time.
level of egalitarian freedom of information that exists in an interstellar society because you can't stop that sort of thing, and trying to would be a fool's errand. What you can do is monitor it very closely and nudge things in a favorable direction towards you by maybe not shutting down the paper that is digging up information on your house rivals within the Imperial Senate. Like,
Yeah.
Who's to say?
Who's to say?
The Oracle is, like I said, based out of Varmstead. It is not located here in Needhole. It is in another population center elsewhere on the planet. It does have like a physical office, even though that's not something that's necessary, because everything it produces is digital. It doesn't have like a hard magazine that is shipped out or anything.
Yeah.
Its reporters are famously not anonymous, which is actually a rarity in news feeds. Most people online that are like distributing news feeds do so beyond the veil of anonymity in order to keep themselves safe. The Varmstead Oracle is fairly unique in that it is an anti-imperial, for a given level of anti-imperial news feed that doesn't do so beyond a veil of secrecy. So the fact that Cassandra has like a byline for this news feed makes her somewhat of a celebrity in certain circles within and without the Empire. Her name probably would have come up in your initial like bout of looking up voices who speak out against the Empire. Whether or not you necessarily recognize anything she's written, it's more like once you start reading through her articles, you're like, oh yeah, I did read this in my initial like bout. But like when you're reading news articles, do you really look at the byline every single time? Like,
Oh, Laredo. Yeah. Or Laraicus. Yeah, I was wondering why that sounded familiar.
She would have made her name essentially on exposing is maybe the wrong word. Doing exposés on certain imperial families that made that have corporate ties that are like paper thin, in the same way that like Hector, or not Hector, but Cromwell Silvaro and the House Silvaro and all that is just like, okay, clearly there's very little separation between the noble house and the corporate entity that they effectively sponsor. She has done exposés on that sort of thing, basically just informing the public about just how thin those lines are. It's not ruined anybody, because anyone with 2 brain cells can kind of look at like, well, yeah, you've got fucking Zolkon Industries, literally House Zolorus and House Canis are in the name of that military industrial company that sells guns to people. But more about just cataloging just how deep some of those ties go is something she has done with her career. She also came under attack fairly recently in what appears to be some kind of, you're not sure exactly what the entire incident pertains to, but it seems like there was some kind of incident in which a changeling was part of the staff of the Varmstead Oracle, and that ended badly. And what you can read basically tells you that like this Fae that was in the body of another person, the Fae was employed by the paper. It's not as though the Fae infiltrated the paper or the news feed. But what that Fae then did basically comes down to there was an assassination that occurred that the Fae perpetrated using this person's body, and then the Fae dipped, leaving this person basically with blood on their hands, and that person never worked for the Varmstead Oracle, but there's this whole legal morass tied in with
Yeah.
all of that, and that like that assassination wouldn't have happened without the access granted by the Varmstead Oracle to this individual. And like Cassandra wasn't directly involved in all of that, but definitely like vouched for this individual and like maybe got them a job initially and like is tied up in all of this somehow. That happened over a year ago though.
Okay.
But there's apparently still blowback happening from it.
Is just curious, but is the like person who is killed like anyone we would have like known about, or was it like small enough to be like this wouldn't have been brought up by in any of our circles?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a name and a face. It's no one you'd necessarily know. It's
Huh.
just
I will point out that I do love a good assassination. No, I'm kidding.
well, fine. The assassination fan
Florian-
among you would have known.
Florian has like a Google alert. It's like assassination attempts. No, I'm kidding. I think he would probably be the last person to know about this.
The person who got killed was a minor member of House Maffei, which is another noble house in the Empire. But no one of like politically shattering import.
Okay.
It's just like whoever this person was made the wrong deals with the wrong people, and then a changeling came a-calling. And apparently whatever happened resulted in this noble's death, and that changeling leaving the meat behind.
What a sentence that was.
Yeah, and Cassandra is tied in with that just on a career level. Let's see. You got 2 crits. I gotta give you something real juicy for that. Cassandra, she has been arrested several times.
Ooh.
Is something you would find out. Like, in the last few years. And on 3 separate occasions, she's been arrested on premises, not necessarily the same one, owned by Aegis Tech Solutions.
Huh.
This is going to. I think as I'm like, because I think part of this is known, like Shay knows this stuff, and also partly like researching her, right? So Shay is like listing off all this stuff as you know, we're reading through the data as well, and yeah, definitely like this could be something. She got arrested on the premises of several Aegis Tech facilities.
Yeah. You got 2 crits. I'm gonna give you one more juicy thing.
Oh,
Hooray!
is that my birthday already?
So juicy tonight.
She has had money transferred to like, and she's been paid, and like these aren't necessarily public records. You don't have access to her bank records or anything, but it's definitely like something she would have been accused of at some point on like a forum somewhere is taking money from Zolkon Industries. And like it is heavily implied that she is, and the Varmstead Oracle at large is actually working for other powers within the Empire and only slandering the people that House Zolaris or House Canis wants them to. But like somebody somewhere had like records of a financial transaction where she got money and paid by Zolkon Industries.
I'm literally just
Yeah.
reading like controversial Sprite threads at this point.
Yeah, exactly. It's like no, they're not presenting you any evidence to back up those claims, but it's just like somebody's making those claims.
That's useful though, because that could indicate like a greater enemy of Aegis Tech.
Yeah, for sure.
As much as I don't want to align with either of those houses, it's just useful to, you know.
Yeah, if we're going to start a house war, then, you know, might as well have the biggest ones on our side.
Are we starting a house war? Wait, hold on.
It was like
God, I hope
supposed to
not.
be that was supposed to be sarcasm and a little bit of a joke.
Right.
But I'm so tired.
You know, 12 Loco has more caffeine than is generally recommended to have within a single.
I know, which is
turns
why I
bad.
only drink the energy drink version that doesn't have alcohol in it.
Oh, well, I mean,
And that's only like
suppose-
once a month.
is that, well,
As
I
is
mean,
the
it's better
Definitely
than
have
as
nothing.
is
to
the
shift
recommended
the
dose.
episode is
I feel
Uh-huh.
like if we just put a piece of tape that said 12 Loco on the side of like a can of WD-40 and said like, "Hey Oswald, skull it, dude," and you just like
Hey,
take
is
his
this-
key
you
out
got
and
that-
fucking just slam that
You got that
WD-40
new
real hard.
12 Loco
Yeah.
flavor.
Yeah.
I am a connoisseur of 12 Loco, I'll have you know.
Maybe
I
try this
will
new
not
flavor.
be drinking your... well, I haven't tried the Samba Surprise, but
Is it?
I've had every
That's
Okay.
not
other.
out yet. Yeah.
Yeah. I got
weird,
I
it
got a
tastes like
sneak peek of
Coconut
Like
it.
Supreme only
WD-40.
Coconut Supreme only kind of tastes like WD-40. I know the difference.
No. He's drinking it, and he's just like he's picking up notes of cherry. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Barrel aged. Oswald,
How
that's
is it barrel?
Interesting.
It
Don't worry.
physically cannot be barrel aged.
no. It
No,
ages
because
listen.
it ages
the-
barrels.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Not wood
You don't
ones.
say what...
metal ones.
Yeah, I was just about to say, we didn't specify the
Yeah.
construction of the barrels.
Barrel aged in terms of 12 Loco is actually a rating. They put a number of barrels on the can, and that's how many barrels one can age.
Oh, I love the rich fiction and deep lore we've established for this
No, this-
one
this-
energy drink. It
this
rivals that of our
season
characters.
Season 2 has just been one long advertisement for 12 Loco.
That one, that mine's
Yeah.
not dry yet. It's still put.
Drink
Give it
Yeah,
hard.
no,
Plenty of
rich
good shit.
vein.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now I'm just writing down flavor names for 12 Loco. So far we have Coconut Supreme, I've written down Ultra Cherry, and
Mhm.
Maximum Taste.
With maximum taste, Skittles say you can taste the rainbow, but with maximum taste, you can actually taste the rainbow. The
Taste
the
light.
entire spectrum of light you can taste in this can.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
All right, so if we want to visit Cassandra in person, we do have to go to a different place on Varmstead. I don't know if we want to do that or want to contact her over the metanet or...
Maybe set up a meeting.
I guess that should go without saying. Yeah, you found her contact information as well.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yes.
I know on what schedule she gets her groceries delivered at this point, so...
Do we want to though like reach out through official channels?
What official channel? Like
Like
Vastplane?
through her byline. No. I mean, like, do we
Oh.
want to reach out to her through her byline, or can you do some hickety hacks and get like her personal info, like contact info?
I have both.
Would it also be good to?
Okay.
I got
Basi-
a double crit, Florian, so I have both.
I don't know. Is that like
It's a
like
special
term
term
the
that
kids
hackers
are
use when they
using?
do a good job.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
red cap slang.
It's red cap
Mhm.
slang.
Do we let her know that we've got a story for her, even though we don't necessarily do, just to
Well, we
entice her?
do
We
have.
don't?
I
We
mean,
don't. We have.
w-
The
I mean,
biggest
again,
story.
it could be a lie because we do have a story. We just don't necessarily have to tell her.
I just don't
Or-
want, if anyone's listening in on this, to know exactly what we're going to meet her for.
We could tell
Right.
her we think her brother might be in danger. I don't know
That would-
why, but certainly get her attention.
I mean, if
Why
we're
else
going
would
to
he- Oh, go ahead.
send anything, it should be through I will do my damnedest to send it as securely as possible.
Right.
I mean, we could be honest. We could say, we're trying to find your brother. We have something that might be of interest to you if you're looking for him as well. And if she says, go away, then we can bring up we maybe have a story for you. But I'm assuming she won't, because it doesn't seem like that video didn't seem like something you would leave to someone who wouldn't care.
Yeah.
Well, yes, sounds like a plan. Who would like to send it? Oh wait, no, it should be Shay.
Yes.
I was about to volunteer, but Shay is a little bit more adept at this. Although I could assist.
It's true. Actually,
I mean, I'm not going to have you roll to send a message.
I guess that's
oh,
true.
okay.
I don't know. I've
figure
seen
that
some
out.
pretty critical failure emails in my time.
It's true.
Sure, but like, I don't think there's a fail state on like sending
Grammar?
a message. It's yeah, you've misused a semicolon so badly that she will never speak to you.
Well, then Shay shouldn't, because I speak exclusively in mid-2000s text speak. As if I've
But-
only got 40 characters to work with.
What the hell is T9?
You, it really comes down to what the content of the message you're sending is,
Yeah.
and through which channels.
Definitely secure.
Sure, but like whether or not you're doing it like, here's a message to the Varmstead Oracle, care of Cassandra Larikis, or are you just like, is she getting a random text message from a number she doesn't recognize?
I like that. I like
Yeah.
that. Because that gives her the impression that it's going to be a big deal, whatever it is. You know? If you're a reporter and you get a message like that,
That
it's
is
like,
true.
Oh shit. Some shit is reaching out to me.
Yeah.
And that would be a
Pelican
correct assumption
brief
here.
over here.
Yeah.
So Pelican's reaching out to her?
Such a
No,
big
Oswald's
bird.
not a pelican.
No, I don't like them. They can swallow other birds whole. It's disturbing.
Yes. So yeah, like so the latter, like kind of mysterious, intriguing. And
So the contents of which would be, we are looking for your brother. We have some information about him, or about Aegis Tech.
I mean, could we just say that we have something, like we have information that you would find interesting?
I was
That,
gonna
if we're doing a random text, that might not be enough.
yeah,
Mhm.
because I was gonna say I almost think it should be like, we want to talk to you about Aegis Tech, but that could sound like Aegis Tech gruffs are gonna come in and be like, oh, it'd be a shame if
I actually do. I think that angle actually might be a good idea. And I mean, if she's a journalist, especially at a paper that posts controversial things, she has a way to like set herself up to like vet people. And
this is true.
Mhm.
What if we say
I
something like, have you seen the wanted posters? We want to talk to you about Aegis Tech.
I mean, I was going to say even further, what if we pretended to be Hector?
I feel like that's
That I would require a roll for.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, actually, you know what? You know what we could do? We could just send the file, like the original file, the video one, and say, "Hey, we're looking for your brother. We found this. Do you want to see the rest of it?" Winky face.
Like, yeah.
It's not a nice thing to do to someone, but
No.
it would get her
It
attention.
does. And it does sort of, yeah, put our cards on the table in a way that I don't think we've ever done.
Yeah, we were
Which
really
could be interesting
not
and new
good
for
at that.
us.
I like it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if she would be able to turn that down, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, we don't assume that he's dead, but if he's making a message like that, I mean, he's thinking about it. It's something that is a possibility. So, yeah.
I mean, you're like, obviously he is working on something that warrants the highest level of secrecy, and if word gets out, they are going to just clean slate, get rid of him.
Yeah.
So
Something you would have figured out when initially digging through data, that particular message was made over 2 years ago.
Yeah. I think, you mentioned that when we were first watching it.
That it was the first file.
It's by no means the oldest file. Once you've dug into this, it's just the oldest files in the computer are like clearly copies, and like a little bit of digging, you'd be able to see like their modification date and when they were copied and stuff. But this was all set up probably a few years back, and then that message he recorded to Cassandra specifically was recorded 2 years ago.
Yeah. How does that line up with her first arrest for trespassing or whatever it was, on Aegis Tech facilities?
Her first arrest doesn't line up at all.
Okay.
That particular date doesn't line up with any of her arrests. Her arrests are sporadic. They've happened over the course of years. And the first one probably happens like 6 months after Hector gets recruited by Aegis Tech.
Okay. I was going to say it would be interesting if, like, that lines up with her first arrest because, like, oh, maybe she lost contact with him around the time that he made the first video. But, I mean, it still makes sense because, like, maybe she lost contact with him that early.
Yeah.
And started going to try to find him. Yeah, I say we do it.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
So, just to be clear, you are sending a copy of Hector's quote-unquote last message to Cassandra with a text rejoinder saying, "We found this. We are looking for Hector." Is that it?
I think.
Can we move?
Hey, we don't think he's dead. Don't worry, but we
Okay.
Yeah, like we're looking for Hector and we found this. We're pretty sure he's alive. Do you want to know?
Use your help.
Would you like to know more?
Yeah. And
Speaking of fascism.
Yeah. And and like, yeah, we could even say in the message, like, we'd like your help.
Okay. That softens the blow I thought was coming a great deal.
I still don't think it's a nice thing to send to somebody, but I think we should point out, because
let's do the least mean version of it possible.
Elliot bringing up that maybe she did lose contact with him like 7 years ago ish is a little that would be bad.
Yeah. Yes, it would. Okay. And like you said, you send this as like a secure message. Hopefully nobody else on the MetaNet will see this, and it will go directly to Cassandra Lorikis, because you have her personal information and her like personal call set. That is a very simple thing to get. But again, just to let you know, this would be like you suddenly get this message from an unknown number and it just shows up. And that's what's happening to Cassandra right now. And you're aware of that when you're making this decision. So
make sure it sends so that there is like a thumbnail of his face so that she's not like, oh, this is a spam message. And if I click on it, I will get a virus.
My God, we sound like kidnappers.
Wait,
So
I'm
bad.
confused.
Just
Why
so
would she
bad.
care if her brother's in danger?
Oh, yeah.
I'm
so
not getting into
Oswald's...
this right now.
I don't
I don't have time
understand.
for that.
Not every, as I understand it, not every family is based in tearing down and possibly murdering your siblings.
So what do siblings normally do?
I mean, there's usually a healthy dose of rivalry there. Yeah, sure, but not like... I agree with Amari. Actually, I don't think we have time to get into
Yeah, no. I don't want to be sad today.
Mara's voice would come over the comm and say, "Oswald, I believe what your friends are trying to tell you is that your relationship with your siblings is atypical."
Oh.
Yeah.
You all could have just said that, I think. But thank you, Mara.
I
You're
think that
welcome,
we,
Oswald.
I think that our subjectivity when it comes to I guess affections for you, it's makes it difficult because you say stuff and it just blindsides us sometimes, and it makes it
Mm.
very hard to react in a way that is not just kind of being dumbfounded.
Right. Well, I will do my best to avoid that in the future, I suppose.
No. That's
Like,
not what...
we don't want you to not.
Jesus Christ.
Should I
We
make a
act
list of
this
things I
way-
shouldn't mention?
No. We
Hmm.
act this way because we care about you, and
No, it's
Right.
just like, it's like when
Right.
any of y'all say something about weird technological shit I don't understand. Like sometimes people's experiences are not relatable to other people, and we
Mm.
just needed a minute to process. That's all.
yeah, right. Flawed,
Yes.
flawed biological brains.
So are we sending that or what?
Yeah, I already did it.
Oh, good. Yes, excellent.
You very quickly, instantaneously, pretty much get confirmation that it was sent and delivered.
Yeah.
You're working on a metanet of this world. You're not trying to send this across interplanetary distances, so it will be delivered almost instantaneously.
Hmm.
And you're just waiting for a response, basically?
I guess.
Yeah,
God.
we can do more reading.
Imagining her opening it in
Yeah.
like a meeting or at her desk or something. Just like, what?
Yeah,
the
I guess
hell?
to let you all know, this is kind of the middle of the day here on Varmstead. The vast majority of your morning / early afternoon was spent like traipsing around the college and finding that other apartment, and then bringing the console back and starting to browse it. So it's like the middle of the day. And yeah, this message is sent to, admittedly, somebody on a different continent, so probably a very different time zone. Where they are in the turn is different than where you are.
Mhm.
But still, the response you get back is very quick.
Mhm.
And it's not a message that you're receiving back. The response you get, Shay, is someone trying to hack you.
Oh shit.
That's awesome. I
Your
love this chick.
defenses are suitable enough that, like, she's not getting a ton of information, especially if you're not, like, actively, like, counter hacking her, if indeed it is her who is doing it.
Yeah.
But someone is, like, probing back at your call set via the metanet.
Gotcha. I
Uh.
wonder. You didn't say. See, actually, in not far off, I am wondering if, like, I can, if it would be A, helpful, or B, anything for me to, like, drop in my Foxy proxy signature in a place that she could find it.
Hmm.
I'll say this much: as you're observing this interaction that's beginning to occur, you can tell that this person's not on your level when it comes
Right.
to
I mean, obviously.
metanet stuff. So, like, these attempts are fumbling and perfunctory. You think they'd probably be suitable for someone who's just, like, day to day, like, trying to get a back hack on somebody and figure out where this call set's coming from.
Hmm.
But it's not like she's getting access to your systems or the ship systems in the same way that, like, you had happen when y'all's data network was invaded by a bunch of divers that were professionally trying to shut you down.
Right.
Hmm.
This is effectively somebody star 69ing you and think they're pretty clever
Nice.
to figure out where this number is coming from. And that's a dated reference even by itself.
That's true.
Yeah.
So if you want to drop your, like, metadiver signature in there for her to find, you can absolutely do that. Whether or not that's going to mean anything to her, you don't know.
I'll at least give her something to look up.
This is true.
Yeah.
Might put her on a trail.
Okay, except what it's gonna lead to is fucking the farts. And
That's true. That is like the most recent and noteworthy thing I've done.
Yeah,
So maybe not that.
I don't see a problem here. They'll know exactly who they're dealing with.
You should go with my red cap name.
You have a red cap name?
Oh, yes. It's Oswald Octavian
Oh,
Theophilus III.
Christ, of course it is. No.
Oh, okay.
And it's just like a photorealistic but like FMV version of your face.
Exactly.
I do think that I'm going to leave a message. Maybe not the signature because it's a little more playful than I think the situation calls for. But a message like, I don't really want to say you've seen the wanted posters. Let's talk about have you seen the wanted posters? Let's talk about Aegis Tech. I think that's very good and cool.
It sounds like something Shay would say.
It's true.
Follow your heart.
Yes.
Have you seen the wanted posters?
That's like
Well, there would be
so vague.
posters,
Doesn't
right?
make
Like,
any
Or like,
sense.
man, the bounty on those Aegis Tech criminals
Yeah,
is
like
getting real
Aegis Tech-
high.
yeah, like
You could you could probably just leave the search terms that would pull up those bounties.
yes, that's a better idea. And then let's talk about Aegis Tech. Listen,
All right, Morpheus, you're leaving a trail for the White Rabbit to follow.
So I
Mhm,
really hope that this is
mhm.
her doing this. Otherwise, this is going to be very awkward.
Right.
That's it. They're beginning to believe.
Amari,
Okay.
are these your Mike and Ikes? Are these yours? There's red and blue ones. I don't know why.
Might as well eat them both.
Blue.
I'll eat both of them, sure.
In this unit, they're called Mike and Mikes, okay?
Oh, yes. Thank you, Michael. You're welcome, Michael.
Mm.
Okay, you include some like oblique references to search terms that would eventually get somebody to discover the bounty notices posted on the four of you,
Yes.
specifically by Aegis Tech. There's a few beats after you send these like pretty bizarre counter responses that like, are these sent as messages to her, or are these left in the like metanet trail that she would find while trying to get into your systems?
In the trail.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Even weirder.
She's going to meet us like IRL and be like, these four are the biggest losers I've ever met. And she will not be wrong.
From her perspective, this is like some deep background, like weird, like hacker bullshit of somebody contacting her out of the blue with esoteric messages. And from your perspective, you're just flicking through things on your data pad in front of you from your ship.
And I'm like holding a different conversation with Florian. This is listen, the day that she was sent the message of her brother's final words was the most important day of her life. To me, it was the, third day of Here and All.
Yeah. On one side, we have like a banal conversation. On the other side, we have a scene from Frost Nixon happening.
Yes.
At some point,
Yeah.
someone's just
Frost Nixon on
microwaving
one
a
side
burrito.
and fucking Jay and Silent Bob on the other.
Yeah, yeah. It's like we're just staring at the hot dog rollers.
I'm reconsidering the pants that I purchased. They're just so constricting.
They look good on you, though.
They do look nice, that's true, but they hide the plumage, which is really,
The audio
what
listener
have ya?
can't see the banal gestures.
Oh,
that
yeah, that's
Elliot is
true.
making. But just imagine a virtual cell phone like device in Shay's hand while they're carrying on this conversation about an Avia's pants.
So wait, why don't you wear pants?
Well, Avia don't really. I mean, they don't need to.
Every
Generally.
Avia I've seen
Words,
besides
genital
you wears
sheath.
pants.
Stop it.
Oh boy.
Yeah, most would probably wear a cloaca skirt at the very least. Leastways.
No. This is what the podcast is about now.
I know. Shay, you would eventually get a message directly back to you, simply asking when and where.
All right. How quickly do we want to do this?
I would imagine that she would want to get this out of the way immediately.
We have to go to at least the continent she's on, and probably the city, but do we want her to come to us? Or...
I mean, the problem is the problem is twofold. One, she probably knows the best place, the best place to be safe for her. The flip side of that is we don't know if we're walking into a friendly meeting or if we're walking into a fucking basement.
Yeah. Especially
Which
because
is
I
why-
did have her search up our bounty notices, so maybe that wasn't super smart in retrospect.
Yeah, hopefully she's not
Was
hurting for
Seemed
cash.
very cool at the time,
Yeah, this
which
is
was
very
2 minutes
cool.
ago.
Right. I say we find a place. That way we can at least set the terms of what's happening. We can at least be more in control of what's going on around. Although we've never been on this planet, so
No.
It's,
I feel like we
That
probably
was
have
my
as much control as we
concern.
usually do.
Yeah.
You're currently standing in the place where you have the most control.
Yeah.
It's true.
Again,
Ship.
that was what I was alluding to is do we want her to come to the Tiresian when we get there?
why not?
Many reasons,
like
but I
someone-
can't think of a better place.
I would like someone to tell me why not. That was a legitimate question.
I mean, we don't know if she's being followed, if she's
Yeah.
being tracked, if she's actually allied with, our...
Yeah. And we don't have any external weapons on the ship.
How about this?
Yeah,
We give
but-
her a
but
location. We give her a location, and at that location is a device, a communication device. And that communication device tells her where to go. And while she's following the directions, we'll have Amari tracking her, making sure that nobody's following her, right? And we'll just lead her to the ship once we know that she's not being followed.
I mean, what if she just has a tracking device on her? Someone's.
Yeah.
I
I mean, technically, we
could we
most
just
people
meet
do.
her at a location? Like, I this is all just me trying to get us to go visit Brother Hune.
That was one of the
Yeah.
suggestions I was going to make, was we could ask if they have any facilities in her area and can offer us a neutral space. Again, we'd have to figure out if they'll actually help us. But
Famously, people can request sanctuary, political or otherwise, in Orcish monasteries.
And
I think we need to have a little faith, right? Okay, someone else comes up with another thing. Come on. Play the game, you turds. Damn it.
What game? What game?
It's fine. The moment's dead. It's cool.
Are we playing a game? What game is it? Do I have to know the rules? What are the rules? Amari, please explain.
Can't do it. Don't have time. We've got to pick a place. Let's go. I suggest we pick somewhere with the... What's the name of the group?
Which group?
The one that Brother Hune is part of.
Oh, the
Oh. I don't think you
I don't
know
think we know.
that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You know he works for
No.
some kind of clandestine organization that
Oh, okay.
didn't want to take part in what you were doing with God's Tech before. You
Got
can
it.
make some suppositions about what that might be.
yeah, we know the
And you have, yeah.
name of the like orcish church itself, but yeah, I don't
Right.
know that we know.
The God's Eye Fellowship is
Right,
like
God's
the
Eye.
organization which a lot of orcish monasteries like are tied to. And
Okay.
there are lots of metanet rumors about their involvement with God's Tech goings on, considering the Orcish homeworld is the largest piece of God's Tech in galactic record, even though most folk have never been there. And those who do claim to have been there have had their memories erased about how they got there.
Okay, so any sort of facilities on this particular
Yes.
planet.
Yes. The God's Eye Fellowship. We'll meet at the monastery. That sounds excellent.
Yeah, we just gotta make sure
monastery-
that they have one on her
Yeah.
continent.
Right.
I mean, the monastery that is closest to you is the college. That, I mean, you could presume she could come to you. That is a possibility.
Yes. If we can get over there, she can get over here. I don't want to. I don't want to go
that's-
anywhere. Are you kidding? We have such a good parking spot.
It's true. It is a really good spot.
It's right up front.
And it could, I mean, yeah, it's not a bad like thing. Like, hey, meet us at the college your brother went to. Like, maybe additionally giving us some legitimacy.
That is fair.
Okay. And that would also mean that, like, she has to spend the next few hours, presumably, getting here.
Yeah.
We could do some digging.
That yeah, we could do some digging. That would also give us time to like actually secure said facilities. So let's
Should we
do
say
it.
like tonight or tomorrow or like as soon as
Let's
you
do it
can get
tonight.
here?
As soon as we can. Yeah, we should get out of here as soon as possible. So let's get this over with. I say.
Yeah, I feel like the
And-
sooner the better. Less time for other parties to somehow find out about it, right?
Yeah.
Yes, and the sooner we leave, the more time we have to get to where we really need to go. So,
Yeah. We have a party to get to.
Okay. So you tell her to come to the Needholg University as soon as possible. Yeah. Okay. You get not even a word back, just like an affirmative, like, blue check mark.
Thumbs up emoji.
Oh, they're verified.
All right. Should we have Mara go through the rest of this while we get everything set up? Do we kind of think that it's going to be okay for her to look at?
That is not something you have determined.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I think we've like just skimmed the surface of it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I could
There's
get
like a
started on
lot
that.
of video files that you don't have a good idea
Oh,
of
that's
what's
true.
on them.
We make a file folder that's labeled Fae Torture, and we just put all the video files in there, and then we just say, okay, don't look at that one. Yeah, no, I
No,
Yeah,
you gotta
let's
label
just-
it something.
Let's just Bluebeard this child for sure.
Gotta label it something banal like taxes.
Okay, but again, she's not like a real child, so she might be like, oh, that's very interesting.
I don't know anything about taxes. I crave new experiences.
What if we write old experiences on it?
There we go.
Oh,
Got it.
Experiences
Ah.
Mara has already had, but she might want to double check.
But she doesn't
She's very
crave them,
thorough.
though.
What if reliving old experiences is a new
Is a new
experience she wants?
Oh man, yeah.
Nostalgia. She could
Memories.
discover nostalgia.
There's
Yeah, no,
there's
they
just
let.
no winning.
Yeah, God.
Just like with real children.
There is no victory. There is only enduring the experience. Yeah, I guess without like really digging through some of this stuff, you would have no way of knowing what could or could not be detrimental to Mara. So giving her a crack at it is, at least based on what you've said so far, is probably not what you would be looking to do.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, I can go through that if somebody wants to dig through, and maybe get some more dirt. Well, actually, we already have a good amount of dirt on Cassandra, just in case. But yeah, I don't know what everybody else is gonna do.
Okay, so Oswald, in the time you have to wait for Cassandra to arrive, Oswald is going to start digging through this information a bit more thoroughly. What is everyone else doing in those few hours?
I'm going to. How far was this cab ride? Like, would we need to take? Is it going to be another like couple hours to get back to campus?
No, like 10 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna go do that then.
Where are you going?
We need these facilities to be secured, so I figured we should probably go in person to be like, hey.
Oh, I
Look
mean,
at
the
it
monastery
before.
itself is part of the college. You're already there.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. Then to the visitor center. To the visitor/sanctuary center.
Sanctuary.
I was just gonna make that joke.
Yeah, I'm gonna
How
watch
dare you.
the full of Disney's Hunchback of Notre Dame. That's what I'm doing. My
Oh
time.
my god, can I watch? I love Quasimodo. He's a friend and boy.
One of the best and worst Disney Renaissance films. I'm sorry, those gargoyles, I just can't get over them.
You're telling me I'm losing to a bird. Woof.
Yeah. Who is going with Florian to check in with the fellowship center is what it would be part of.
It can be nobody. I'm going to a monastery.
I mean, I've got nothing to do. I can go with you if you want. If you don't want me to go, I will stay here and
hell
I
yeah.
will go tinker
No,
on
Mari,
tubs.
you should go. You should go.
Okay.
I
Shay?
get the feeling you want me to
I'm
go.
I'm going to start laying the groundwork for implicating Oswald Octavian Theophilus IV in embezzlement.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Huh.
What a
Cool.
good birthday
Cool and
present.
good.
Oh my
Mm.
gosh.
Wow,
It is not only
I have such good
Septimus,
friends.
Septimus's birthday, it is also apparently Oswald's.
I will get back to you about that.
Okay.
Huh.
Oh boy.
Because I have
This
some
is the-
questions in terms of laying the groundwork. So
Mhm.
Okay. Mm.
This
So,
is good.
Florian
good.
and Amari, you
Yeah.
depart the ship and head to another part of this campus building university. It's all kind of the same thing.
Mhm.
But specifically, there is a section of the college that is devoted to the organization called the God's Eye Fellowship, which is a large, multi-world, international, I guess would be the correct term still, even if it's in space, organization that is mostly comprised of folk of Orcish descent, but is not exclusive to that species. They're people who devote themselves to community building and furthering etheric study and research, and the mysteries surrounding God's tech and seed theory as a whole, like the whole origin of species thing that is occurring in the Dragon's Wake. A lot of that is driven by the fact that the orcs originally just appeared in the galaxy one day, basically right after space travel became very common amongst the different species throughout the galaxy. Populations of orcs appeared on worlds across that galaxy. And it was a huge mystery for a long, long time, and it kind of still is to this day, even to the orcs themselves. A lot of those first orcs...
Go on.
They talked about a place called the Eye of the Gods, which, based on the descriptions given at the time, most scholars seem to think is a large artificial world that is mostly created by God's tech. They describe what is effectively a Dyson sphere, but nobody knows where it is. And the people who have been there that are alive today don't remember how they got there, and they don't remember coming back. They just have memories of being in that place. And the people who have gone to the Eye usually end up joining the God's Eye Fellowship.
Weird.
It's super weird. The Orcish monasteries, fellowship monasteries that are across the galaxy, tend to be not centers of their communities, but important parts of their communities. Fellowship teachers and like farming engineers are highly prized throughout the galaxy. Orcs in most communities that belong to the Fellowship just like find little niches that need filling, usually on some like service level, and fill it to the best of their abilities. And in major population centers, that usually revolves around education of one stripe or another. And so seeing universities built up around monasteries is pretty common, actually. Going to the Fellowship Center, you are met by how to describe this? There's a lot of motifs in the city that make you aware of the fact that you're in an Imperial city when you're wandering around, whether it be color schemes or insignias or just like little bits and pieces that make it so like you can never really forget you're in the Canis Empire. When you enter the Fellowship area, some of that bleeds away. So you're not seeing little idols to Primus Canis or house insignias from the different noble houses of the Empire. You're not seeing color schemes that reflect House Canis. You're not seeing the twin dragon insignia of House Canis as frequently. And by the time you're in the Fellowship Center proper, all of that's gone. And you're left with an area of the college that is very like earth tone based. You've got like browns and oranges and lots of like dark greens, and you see insignias associated with the stead gods, specifically the stead god Waith. I don't think either of you would know much like religious wise, other than you both got Terrell decks at one point read at you, and Waith would have been included in those decks as well as representative of change or fate. And so as you enter the center, you are met by an orc, a large, broad, kind of like porcine features, kind of a flat nose, tusks coming up from the lower jaw, bristly, like coarse hair, dressed in a robe that falls down over one shoulder in kind of a draping, think like Tibetan Buddhist kind of vibe to the attire, with large beads wrapped around one wrist and a talisman around their neck that has that symbol of Waith repeated there. And he would approach and ask you hello.
In looking at my notes, Florian specifically would remember Waith because that was, one of Florian. That was Florian's stead card.
Huh, weird.
It's pronounced Waith.
Waith. Waeth.
That's what I said.
And I said, huh, weird.
Yeah.
An orc attendant would approach you and ask you how do you do and how he could help you today.
Yeah, this might be a weird ask, or maybe not. We're hoping to lock down some facilities for a meeting. We're just kind of looking for neutral ground, and we're hoping we could find some on the university somewhere.
Yes, well, we provide spaces for meditation and out-of-the-way meetings if they need to be of a private nature. This is absolutely. If we could just see your student IDs, that would be most helpful for record keeping.
So this becomes a problem. We are not ourselves students. We are meeting regarding a student, hence why we're on university grounds.
I see. And the space where you're having this conversation is inside another one of those floating buildings that orbit the primary building. And you are in a space that is made to look like a garden in the same way that the student information center is made to look like a large quad or an open like orchard. This place is made to look like a garden comprising of small pebbles raked into intricate designs to either side of this long path leading to an outbuilding that appears to be more of like a rustic monastery built inside of this larger orbiting building. And there are several large stones inside the like raked pebbled areas, and the stones themselves appear to be rough geodes of aethite that are uncut and unrefined. And the orc attendant would ask you, of course, may I ask what student this is in regards to?
Yeah, Florian definitely looks at Amari and does like, do I? Or do I throw my my brother Hune card down? What are you thinking, Reed?
I say pull the Brother Hune card, because that's
Okay.
one, fun, two, and I don't have a good lie ready for this.
Yeah. That is. I know this is unconventional, but that is unfortunately the reason we need a secure area is because it concerns this student's possible safety. If you need someone to vouch for me, I do know a brother of yours, and I know that like you folks are all across the galaxy, so but if you were able to contact Brother Hune, he might be able to vouch for me and let you know that this isn't for something illicit. I promise. It's really important and unfortunately private.
I see. Well, discretion is one of the things we hope to provide here as a safe place for students and faculty alike. Brother Hune, you said, and he is a member of the staff?
No, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how this all works. Like you're wow, sorry.
Fellowship?
It's really yes. Yes, sorry. It is not late here in this space, but in the brain space where Olivia lives, it's very late at night.
I see.
Yeah.
Oh, so Brother Hune is a fellowship member that you are in contact with.
Yes.
I see. If you would please wait in our atrium, I could perhaps contact this Brother Hune and see what can be done for you.
Yeah.
I mean, we can also request sanctuary too. This is just like me leaning to the side to Florian, like.
I don't know what that
be,
means, but yeah, if that's
Um,
is that a thing we can do? Can we request sanctuary? Say that out loud.
If this is a matter of sanctuary, then you will need to speak to the abbot.
What? Why don't you reach out to Brother Hune first, and we'll see if this actually is a matter of sanctuary or not. No need to bother the abbot if we don't need to.
Well, may I please have your names then, so that I might confirm with.
I don't think he ever met this one. Florian, of Akalar.
Florian of Akalar.
Yeah, there's only one of me, so it won't like.
And he will glance over at you, Amari. And is that the only name I will be providing?
I mean,
At the moment, discretion is kind of. Again, we're trying to keep some people safe here.
I see. Well, if you would please follow me into the atrium, I will see about contacting Brother Hune, and we will hopefully sort this out.
Okay, out of character, 100%. He's gonna go in the back room and be like, "Fucking Amari Kelrakasa is here."
I hope a brother, like a person of the fellowship, doesn't like recognize a war hero. I hope he's just like, no, we
They have the news.
kept our heads down.
Yeah,
I
they have
I hope he
orbs to
didn't watch
ponder.
it. I hope he didn't watch it. He was too busy helping people to watch the news.
You don't know what I rolled just now?
I don't know. That's the thing. That's I'm just hoping.
Huh? Do you follow him into the atrium?
Yeah, I'll go where he directs.
Yeah.
Okay. The first room you go into when you enter the monastery proper is a large room that is a half dome, which is odd to see as like just a piece of construction inside yet another building. Is just like, you're now inside of a dome. Weird. It is lit by rough crystals planted on the up parts, the ceiling. My God.
Wednesday,
It's not quite as
Wednesday,
late in this
fucking
brain
Wednesday
space
is
where Mike
hitting
is, but
Yeah.
so hard
it's
today.
Still a little late.
And to figure
The
out what the
ceiling.
up parts are called, it will have to wait until next time.
The reverse floor.
You know, the thing at the top of the walls.
Christ.
The trim. Wait, no.
Mm.
As you
Oh,
come into
boy.
this room, you see a large hanging piece of art on the ceiling above you that is casting the light into this space. It is something like a dream catcher in its basic construction. You see lots of pieces of pale wood bound together with strips of leather and hanging from the ceiling by other cords. Woven within that pale wood, which you would probably identify pretty quickly as drossel wood. It is like the pale birch-like bark of those God's-tech trees. They are bound together in like weird little constructions that from certain angles on the floor resolve themselves into different symbols depending on where you're standing and what angle you're seeing all the wood like interlocking.
Whoa,
Above
weird.
you.
That's cool.
So from up above, it turns itself into a face like all the papers, right?
Exactly.
Oh my god, it is
Yeah,
the Da Vinci
exactly.
Code.
It's the Da Vinci Code.
From the center of the room looking up, it resolves into an interlocking symbol that looks vaguely like a Mobius strip that is the symbol of Waith. As you are standing in the center here, you see other orcs bustling in and out of the center room, which has a bunch of other doors. It's roughly 100 feet across in any given direction. It is a circle, but there are other entrances and exits besides the main doors that you came in from behind. Each of the different doors leading out of this place is just an open aperture that is like leading out into other portions of this monastery. There's no like actual door sealing the way out. But you are left to stand in the center here. And you're left there for a little bit. And it's when you start to get a little antsy after you lose sight of every other orc in this place. Once there's no one else around and you're alone in this central atrium, there's a moment of just like feeling as though everyone else has left you alone on purpose. It's not as though there's a lull in the comings and goings of this place. It's a distinct feeling that everyone has slowly filtered out of this place to leave you two isolated.
I just want to mention that I have both my big ass knife and Layla's big ass knife.
You brought 2 knives to church.
To be fair, or not to be fair, to be clear, the name I have given that distinct weapon that was given to you is the Athema.
Great.
Just giving you that one there.
Cool.
Hey Amari, I love your wife, but she's a bitch.
Yeah, why do you think I married her? I don't want to make enemies like that. Are you crazy? Look at the fucking knives she gives out.
Those are the ones she gives away.
Yeah.
Not only did she give you that knife, she gave you that knife and told you to kill yourself.
Like
Yeah.
literally. Yeah.
That's her being nice.
She gave you the sword she wants you to kill yourself with.
Yeah.
It is after you come to that realization that you have been isolated in this place that the glow of the crystals above you tied into the strange art fixture begin to change colors. It starts with like a just pale, warmish white light that suffuses this place, and it slowly bleeds into a blue. And that blue slowly fades into a yellow and then into a green. And when you're bathed in that green light, Florian,
Oh yes.
I would like you to roll me a d12, please.
Oh, shit.
That's a 1.
That's a 1. For the first time in you can't remember how long, you're not hungry.
Oof. Yeah, I think it's like it is the kind of stillness you get inside of like cathedrals, even if you're not of a religious bent, which Florian is very much not, where it's like when everything is quiet and you're like, oh, I forgot like how noisy everywhere else is. And this is just like the absence of sound. It feels like that.
But there's also the absence of a feeling. It's like living with chronic pain and then suddenly having it lifted. Having this ache inside of you that was always a constant gnawing hunger that you've been feeling for a while now is suddenly gone. And it's suddenly striking like just how pervasive it was in the events following your brief transformation. But it's gone now. And as you like look down at yourself and glance at your artificial arm, and for the first time it doesn't feel like there are those wounds on your body that could open up again at the drop of a hat. It doesn't feel like you need to keep taking in aether to satiate some thing that needs that constant intake. Once those feelings are gone and you're sitting in that silence, a voice from one of the apertures leading out of this place says, "Now that we are alone, I believe we can talk." And his brother Hune steps out into the atrium, hands folded behind his back, staring between the two of you and nodding appreciatively. I think your conversation with him will have to wait until next time.
Yay, I get to meet Brother Hune.
Because as always, you can find us online at MatcomRPG on Twitter and Instagram. You can also email us at materialcomponentsrpg@gmail.com. We always love hearing from all of our listeners.
You can find me on Twitter at CryOutOlivia. I am always there talking about D&D and other RPGs and also just a lot of other nerd stuff. So come hang out.
You can find me on Twitter at Elliot C. Lewis. I'm an illustrator and graphic designer, doing a lot of tabletop RPG and other fan art. You can also support me on Patreon and Ko-fi. Links to both of those are in my Twitter profile.
You can find me at The Readamus on Instagram and Twitter, where I post jokes and lots of photos of nature, so come check it out.
And you cannot find me on social media, but what you can do is support our show by rating and reviewing it on whatever platform you're listening to it on. Please, please, please do so.
Indeed, and finally, you can find me personally on Twitter and Instagram at MKGorgoni, where I'm always happy to talk about all things material components. But as always, the world is chaos, so please, be kind to each other. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.